At the University of Georgia, Liz Murphy is the Mount Rushmore of athletic leaders. She can't run like Herschel, or hit a home run like Hank Aaron, or dunk a ball like Dominique. But in her own way, her accomplishments are just as significant, if not more so. Don't believe me? Well, let's play a game. What would our world look like if she had never been born? Well, the Gym Dogs would have never won 10 NCAA championships, 18 SEC trophies, and 21 regional titles because Liz Murphy wasn't there to hire a young Suzanne Yokelin. Georgia women's swimmers have a long, rich tradition, 7 national titles. But that wouldn't have existed either because Liz Murphy found Jack Bowerly, one of the best swimming coaches in America, to lead the program. Oh yeah, let's eliminate the 7 SEC titles women's basketball won. Former head coach Andy Landers was her pick to guide the Lady Dogs. We almost forgot women's tennis. She brought in head coach Jeff Wallace in 1985, the winningest active NCAA women's tennis coach. His teams have won 9 SEC titles and 2 NCAA team championships. All of that gone if Liz Murphy was never born. Strange, isn't it? Each person's life touches so many other lives. When they aren't around, it leaves a gigantic hole. Playing tailback at the University of Georgia carries a certain prestige. They are the foundation for the Bulldogs' success and one of the reasons UGA remains a premier program. It is their talents and dedication that have earned Georgia the distinction of being called Tailback U. And Garrison Hurst was without question one of the best to ever suit up at this position. One of his greatest runs came against Vanderbilt. It was a 71-yard touchdown that had the Commodore defense, all 86,000 fans, and even his own sideline shaking their heads in disbelief. For the afternoon, Hurst finished with 246 yards, the third best single-game total in UGA history. For the year, Garrison would break Herschel Walker's season record for touchdowns with 21 and total points scored 126. His 6.8 yard per carry set an SEC record formerly held by Heisman winner Bo Jackson. Garrison would finish the season with 1,547 yards rushing. At season's end, Hurst would place the SEC Player of the Year and the Doak Walker Awards on his shelf as the nation's best back. He finished third in the Heisman voting, but more importantly, he proved to be the epitome of Bulldog spirit. His dedication and heart places Hurst at the forefront of the Tailback U class, and the memory of his blazing speed will bring a smile to Bulldog fans forever.
35-30, 35-40, Hurst, touchdown!
Signing with San Francisco in 1997, he rose to new heights, running for 1,019 yards and 4 touchdowns to become the 49ers' first 1,000-yard rusher since '92. The next year, he was even better, tearing up the field for 1,570 yards and 7 touchdowns and setting a then franchise record for rushing yards. We live in a universe composed of billions and billions of stars, but only the Peach State on planet Earth has the distinction of offering the best golf in the galaxy. From Sea Island to East Lake to Great Waters to Augusta, commanding, breathtaking, awe-inspiring. Georgia is an 18-hole paradise. Our exceptional fairways are home to some of the finest players in the country, especially in women's amateur golf. Augusta native Laura Coble is part of this elite group. She is one of the top women amateur players who walks the links, as well as one of the sport's most distinguished ambassadors. Now in her 5th decade, she continues to bring home trophies. Coble is proof that age is no barrier to getting better or achieving what you want in life. Laura Coble, one of the greatest amateur golfers that the Peach State has ever produced, hits the perfect shot straight down the fairway as the newest member of the Georgia Sports Hall of Fame. Linebackers aren't hired for their sweet disposition. They aren't engaged for their gentle touch. They are employed for their ability to cause maximum hurt to those who would dare cross the line of scrimmage or even think of throwing a pass. Yep, that's going to leave a mark. You got to love the contact baby to play this position, and none played it with more enthusiasm and more ferocity than Keith Brooking. The 12th overall selection in the 1998 NFL Draft by the Atlanta Falcons, Brooking became the emotional core of their defense for the next 11 years. His aggressive style of play was characterized by quickness, speed, and agility. In his rookie season, he recorded 8 tackles in the NFC Championship game against the Minnesota Vikings, helping Atlanta reach Super Bowl 33. Ranked as one of the 20 greatest Falcons ever by the AJC, he is still considered one of the best NFL linebackers ever. In 2009, Brooking went on to captain the Dallas Cowboys defense, becoming the team's heart and soul. He was an emotional leader who helped them reach the playoffs and contend for an NFC East championship in his first season. Brooking's pregame on-field motivational speeches are the stuff of legend.
We're about to hold them up. What we gonna do? We're gonna hit them in the mouth. We're gonna bloody their nose. We're gonna bloody them in the ground.
University of Georgia tennis coach Manuel Diaz is one of the few people in this hall who took over from a legend and then proceeded to become one himself. Growing up on the tropical island of Puerto Rico, he switched from baseball to tennis at the late age of 13 and became an outstanding player. In 1971, he responded to a scholarship offer from UGA and rolled the dice, making the 1,500-mile trip by plane to Athens. There, he joined renowned head tennis coach Dan McGill and his up-and-coming team. During his storied career, the Bulldogs had finished the season ranked nationally in the top 5 19 times, and in the top 10 25 times. Every one of his 28 teams has finished its season nationally ranked. His players now populate the pro ranks, burning up the court against the best professional tennis has to offer. A 5-time SEC Coach of the Year, Diaz is one of the most respected and honored leaders in collegiate tennis. Athletic greatness does not announce itself. It comes like a whisper on the wind, explodes, changing everything around it, and then is gone before we know it, leaving memories we can never forget. In 1978, Griffin High School senior Willie Gault was one of the top football players in the state. He chose Tennessee, then known in the Southeastern Conference as wide receiver U. And from the minute he stepped on the field, he started rewriting the record books. On the gridiron, Gault led the Vols in all-purpose yards for 3 consecutive years, and he left UT as one of the greatest kick returners in college football history. During his 4 years at Tennessee, he caught 89 passes for 1,482 yards and 10 touchdowns, and returned 78 kickoffs for 1,854 yards and 4 touchdowns. Galt was a first-round pick by the Chicago Bears in 1983, and as usual, he hit the ground running. During the Bears' dominant 1985 season, he was the leading receiver with 704 yards in what some say was the greatest NFL team ever. In the Bears' 46-10 victory over New England in Super Bowl 20, Galt helped lead Chicago to victory with 4 catches for 129 yards, capping an incredible year. Adding to his resume, Galt joined Georgia Hall of Famers Herschel Walker and Edwin Moses, making the 1988 Olympic bobsledding team. James Brown has always been regarded as the hardest working man in show business. It's not too much of a stretch to say that Matt Harpring was one of the hardest working men in basketball. As a freshman on the flats, Harpring finished a close second in the Atlantic Coast Conference Rookie of the Year voting. The next year, he helped Tech to the 1996 ACC regular season title and the NCAA Sweet 16. During his remaining 3 seasons, the All-ACC star was sensational, averaging 18, 19, and finally 21.5 points per game as a senior. Before his last home game at Alexander Memorial Coliseum, Harpring's number 15 jersey was retired. At the time, just the 6th player in Jackets history to be so honored. He left Georgia Tech as the 2nd leading scorer, the 3rd leading rebounder, and the number 1 foul shooter in school history. He was selected to the ACC's 50th anniversary men's basketball team as one of the 50 greatest players in Atlantic Coast Conference history. Not bad for a guy that was barely recruited. In 2002, he signed as a free agent with the Utah Jazz. Joining superstars Karl Malone and John Stockton, Harpring played the best basketball of his career. Fitting in well with Utah's offensive system, he averaged over 17 points per game while shooting 51% from the floor. In 2003, Stockton and Malone left Utah, and Harpring was named team captain, providing steady leadership for the young lineup. If you only remember one thing, and only one thing, about Jeff Saturday, remember this. In football, we can measure how high one can jump, how fast one can run, and how far one can throw. But what we can never measure is the size of one's heart, spirit, and will to win. Jeff Saturday exemplifies all of these qualities. He spent his career overcoming doubts about his abilities, believing the only true measure of an athlete is his desire to succeed. Fittingly, the man no one wanted to draft ended up helping the Colts win the AFC Championship game against the New England Patriots when he recovered a teammate's fumble in the end zone for a touchdown.
It's Jeff Saturday, right back at you, they say, to New England.
Saturday also provided the key block on the game-winning touchdown run by Joseph Adai. 2 weeks later, he helped the Colts win Super Bowl 41, beating the Chicago Bears 29-17. What better stage to deliver his message that if you have the drive and the heart is willing, any goal is attainable. For all those who questioned his talents, for one glorious night, Saturday proved that there is no challenge that cannot be met, no goal that cannot be reached. In this game, he and the Colts showed the world that the triumph of the human spirit is a triumph for all of us who dream of greatness.